Step-by-Step Math Series presents Factoring Trinomials Part 2, Factoring by Grouping, one of two videos. Okay, let's do this problem here. Factor by grouping, you'll notice that the problem will have four terms. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to factor this and have two binomials at the end. So the first thing you need to do is take the first two terms and factor them. And we are going to factor out an x here. And we get x, parentheses, x take away 5. So x times x is x squared, x times negative 5 is negative 5x. And the great thing about factoring by grouping is that whatever you factored, this binomial, you're going to have it here as well. And what term will go here? Well, if you look at this right here, you'll notice that you probably need a 4, and it's a plus 4. 4 times x gives you 4x. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Now, you have these binomials that are the same. You're going to take them out. You're going to factor it, sort of. Take it out. And you're left with x plus 4. X and then the 4. And this is your two binomials. The next one is the same thing. You have 4 terms. And usually in the textbook, those 4 terms are going to be written out for you. And it's going to be ready to go. So you take these two terms and you factor. In this case, I'm going to factor out an x. I'm left with x plus a 3. And you'll notice x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. And you do the same thing over here, where you have to write exactly the binomial that you just created. So what's left over here? Well, you can see it's a 2. Because 2 times x is 2x and 2 times 3 is 6. So this binomial, the second time you write it, will determine what you will factor out. Okay, then these binomials are the same. That's the whole idea. You're going to factor it out. You're going to take them out. And what's left over? Well, you got the x and you got a plus 2. And there's your two binomials to factor this 4-term item. Okay, and the last one. Here again, we take these two, we factor it. And again, remember, when you're doing factoring by grouping, you'll have 4 terms. Don't forget that. I'm going to factor out an x, and here I'm going to be left with an x, take away 6. You can see that I can extract an x from these two terms, and that's what I'm doing. X times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. And over here, I write the same binomial. And what's left over? Well, if you put a 3 times x is not negative 3x. But if you write negative 3 times x gives you negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 6 gives you positive 18, so that's great. Now that you have these two binomials, you take them out. And what's left over? You got an x, and you got a negative 3. And these are your two binomials. Now, factoring by grouping, not only can you do it for 4 terms, but you can also do it for a trinomial. If you look at the factor by grouping 2 of 2, the second video will explain how you can do that.